Aloha and good morning, everybody. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz. I'm joining you from Honolulu, Hawaii this morning. And I'm here for eTober News and Livestream.travel. But more important, we'll continue to celebrate the launch of the World Tourism Network. World Tourism Network is an association what emerged out of the rebuilding.travel discussion we had since March, since the outbreak of COVID-19. And we're progressing into an organization with now more than 1,000 members in 124 countries. And some of us are meeting right now, and we're going to go to Nigeria to learn more about this West African country and what is going on in Africa. Before we do this, I wanted to remind everybody, we have a number of events coming up. The entire December is our launch events. We had our major launch, and we also had the ministerial panel already, and many other events. You can find both the archive and also upcoming events when you go to wtn.travel and click on the blue banner, or you click on the link for the launch event. It's very prominent. You can register, be live, ask questions, or you can watch us, of course, on eTober News, on Facebook. This is going to be repeated a number of times over the next 30 days. So we're excited to be out there, and anyone who hasn't joined us yet, just go to wtn.travel. We have both free and we have full paid membership options, and we want you to be part of it. Now, without further delay, I'd like to give the microphone to Clara Okoro. And Clara Okoro is joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. For those that don't know where Nigeria is, she will explain it. It's one of the most powerful countries actually in Africa, with a lot of people, very inventive people. We just earlier off the air, we talked about the vibrant fashion industry in that country. Lots going on. Welcome, Clara. You need to unmute yourself, please. There you go.
Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Like Youngan said, my name is Clara Okoro, and it's a pleasure to have you all join us this evening. I'm, presenting from Lagos in Nigeria, and we're basically going to be talking about a topic that we feel would add value and if taken into consideration when policies are being drawn up and implemented. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you for taking time out to join us. I have three people who will join me on this panel, each of them an expert in the areas that they work. And we're going to have very strong value-driven discussions this evening, and has takeaway that if some of these ideas put forward are implemented, it will go a long way in making tourism very, very competitive in Africa. I'd like to welcome you once again, and we're going to be treating the topic of smart tourism in Africa. It might sound a bit futuristic, but I can assure you that sometimes when technology comes into some areas of Africa, what it does is just leapfrog. It's 5 years, 10 years, and jump into the 10th year of that existing technology. And these are the things we're hoping would eventually happen with the tourism ecosystem in Africa. So I'd like to introduce to you my panelists. I have Mr. Amos Emmanuel, founder Programos Foundation. I have Mr. Yasir Demnati, Associate Director of Sales Backyard in Dubai. And I also have Marie Glad, who is the Senior Designer, Lecturer, and Mentor at Malmo University in Spain. It's a pleasure to have them all, and we're going to keep this very short, succinct, and to the point. So our presentations are just going to last for five minutes, and then we go into the discussion panel, where afterwards you will all be free to ask questions. I'll just give a brief of who my panelists are. Amos Emmanuel is Chairman and Chief Software Architect at Programos. He is the immediate past Vice President, Information Technology Association of Nigeria, ITAN, and Nigeria's member at the World Information Technology and Services Alliance, WITSA. While in ITAN, he chaired the ITAN Strategic Initiative Committee, ISIC. He's also the founder of the World Awards, WSA, and an expert in that jury. He's going to help us talk about smart cities today. Yasia Demnati is a high-energy, success-driven executive with a broad toolkit of business development, digital marketing, and sales management. With over 14 years in his kitty, he's developed a strong reputation for the ability to consistently drive progress and profit as Director of Sales at Parkyard in New York. He played a series of key roles in setting the hotel commercial strategy, managing relationship with key clients, and growing the hotel's market share in Middle East and Africa. Mr. Yasir Demnati will be talking to us today about smart hotels and how in post-COVID era, this will become the norm. Marie will be talking to us about user interface. When tourists want to travel to countries, does technology play a part in the decisions they make? And I think absolutely this is key now for a lot of people who want their comfort. To go to uncharted territory where they know nothing about is a bit of a dampener in their decision. But if we have tools that can make their journeys, their travels a lot easier, it will become very competitive for those environments that they want to travel. What Marie will be looking at. She has over 20 years of experience in the field of user-centered design and digital innovation. She has worked with over 70 different brands across industries, including IBM, IKEA, Orange, Mercedes-Benz, Scandinavian Airlines. With her breadth of experience and expertise in managing global as well as local projects, she translates big ideas into impactful and integrated solutions. Mario will be speaking to us, as I mentioned, about user experience and user interface when it comes to technology tools in travel. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome my panelists and welcome each and every one of you. And I'll go straight to Mr. Amos Emmanuel for the first presentation.
Thank you very much, Clara. So I'll just, I know we don't have too much time on this, so I'll just go straight to share my presentation. Just permit me to do this. Please let me know when you see my screen.
Your screen comes to
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. Oh, great. Merci beaucoup. Right, as I'm sure, devoid of other introductions, because I don't have much time. I must say that I thank the World Tourism Network for this program today. I just want to take the aspect that concerns me, which is trying to see how Africa should look at tourism going forward, because enough of the excuses we may want to give. Right. First is that smarter and digital enabled tourism in Africa. Increasing awareness for digital economy trends in Africa owing to the visitation of the 2020 coronavirus pandemic will improve the dwindling performance of a true tourism industry in many African countries. There are certain factors I'm looking at as factors that we really need to hold importantly. I will look at visa facilities innovation. Things around visa facilities has to be properly taken care of, and they must be responsive to positive, guidelines compliance with the World Health Organization. Of course, marketing campaigns, now we have digital media that has actually expanded in so many ways. Tourism in Africa that was never there are beginning to take advantage of digital media in marketing, tourism, products, and services. Then we look at some other factors as the improving of the infrastructure. This has become major concern in many governments across Africa. That improving digital ecosystem became a very important thing that we had seen like about a decade ago. And in my foundation, we had actually been trying to see how we'll actually assist the environment by curation of a digital ecosystem that we call the Innovation Bed.Africa, where innovation solutions need to be linked to tourism activities particularly. Africa actually, if properly presented, marketed, Africa, I can actually see that the digitally marketed tourism carries the beauty of an African digital economy. The beauty of Africa is yet to be appreciated. But then we're happy that given that tourism now utilizes tools that work across different devices, making it more convenient for tourists, African tourism industry is actually hasn't seen its expansions and promotions yet. Now, improving infrastructure, we look at digital transformation. This is actually an inevitable journey that tourism organizations need to embark on, fundamentally changing the way in which business is done and customers are serviced. It is a journey that begins by evaluating the way the tourism organizations work, the way they communicate, the way they connect, and of course, the way they collaborate. And of course, bearing in mind that tourism in itself is a part of a major ecosystem, the digital economy of any nation. Nigeria and Africa, they are not out of this. So all the integrations of all of these are part of the SDGs that we believe, if properly harnessed, that technology will be able to really move the bars for this. Now, in the innovating of the problems of tourism under the innovation bed, we are actually looking at a situation whereby we are subjecting every youth around us to special training for which they can perhaps help their various regional leadership to see how they can change their mindset to imbibe digital methodologies that will improve tourism in many regions as we speak. Now, innovators are actually the fastest tourists. So because this is so, they had actually become very provoked, particularly in Africa, that they now begin to transform innovative ideas into ensuring that critical factors of smart tourism growth in Africa can be better maintained as positive, because you could also have this to be negative. Some of these factors include culture, peace, security, infrastructure, visas, like I mentioned, and a whole lot of other gamut of opportunities. We can now actually see that tourism as digital enterprise and hubs across economies, it actually conforms with all the expectations of SDGs number 1 to SDG number 17. This is totally taken care of. And tourism is linked with every sector of the economy. Tourism industry keeps tight correlation with the economic growth of the global economy, and as many factors impact positively or negatively the tourism industry. That Smart Tourism Africa is equally impacted. Now, there is a peculiarity when we want to look at tourism in Africa. In Africa, just like in perhaps some other climes, we realize that certain enterprises upon which tourism actually also operate from, we realize that there are certain levels of enterprises, whether in banking, whether in every other part, just like as it is in tourism, things at a point play at what we call the level of brick and mortar. Most of the operators at this level hardly find themselves on the internet. So we try to see how more of these people are educated and moved so that they can move levels up the ladder, so that they can actually encourage them to get to imbibe online presence, where they can actually kind of do at least some basic advertising of their services and the products. Later, try to grow them, that they can actually have e-commerce sites where they can actually not only advertise, they can have products being purchased. And of course, advance them into more advanced portals, of course, into perhaps much more sophisticated. What you find at the level of sophisticated portals in Africa would always be at the categories of multinationals who have found themselves, you know, in very attractive protective climate within the continent, because they are able to attain that caliber of growth. So we're actually taking this education backwards so that we can bring almost every player at the brick and mortar level, let them even have internet presence. And of course, at the first point that they're advertising, let them even begin to sell one product or the other, where they even begin to sell multiple, and later deliver services on the internet, and later begin to offer the attraction, because tourists want good service. If you are not there to offer good competitive service, then you're actually not in business. Africa has to move levels and advance its digital levels up this ladder of evolution of digital enterprise. These things may not happen overnight, but can be planned for successful, can be planned for success by good leadership. And some of this is actually can be some complicated set of architecture, but then we have launched something in Nigeria where we actually have imbibed the United Nations ICT for Seeds space architecture that is meant to encourage leaders, anybody in public sector or public service, to use some of this innovation that is able to make them to do things that make them to use the certain computer-aided planning products or solutions so that they can actually improve the services that they churn to the society. If these guys are not even doing the right things, we realize that the services, even in ordinary renderings, its government services to its citizens, are so poor or not even available at all. But then this kind of services, youths in Africa are beginning to learn, because it's now open. The pilot in Africa in Nigeria has already started, and this will be scaled across other African countries. And we actually would encourage that the tourism sector should take advantage of this, because all public services that you actually relating with customers that have CRMs, that customer and citizens involved have to go through all this gamut of technological maneuvering that makes work much more competitive and fast and knowledgeable. So, and I think all these are the kind of attention that we think to give the attention to the tourism industry in Nigeria. And so that by the time you have the units of the countries in Nigeria, in Africa, offer this kind of attention to their environment, enhanced innovation by Africans will sustain necessary economic development for smart tourism in Africa. And of course, the global picture of tourism can better identify some of us in Africa, in Nigeria, to join the smart global village, because we are doing the right things, and our e-services, which are now global smart hubs, will include tourism, aside healthcare, education, disaster recovery management, and some other areas of service of listening to the masses. So I think that's about my very small intro I need to put at this point. And I actually shared a link here that you can go to study some products that are innovative products that have been released in the world. As of 2019, there were tourism products released from about 5 countries that won at the World Summit Awards last year. This link can take anyone to that set of products on tourism. Thank you so much for now.
Wow. This was so absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Amos. I am absolutely impressed. And when the time you were able to give us concise and very value-driven information that is actually planned, that could be used for plans and evaluated and actually doable. This is really amazing. And I hope you can share that document with us. A lot of us would like to go through the details in working with that. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely grateful for sharing that.
You have the document already.
Yeah. Emmanuel, if you send the document, we can also put it in our archive, so people can just simply click on it.
I have it. She has it. I've sent it to her already. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, fantastic. So we move immediately to Yasir to take on his presentation. And then afterwards, we can, if we don't get Marie to join us, we can go on to the panel discussion. So Yasir, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Clara. And I'd like to say hi to everyone and thank you for the WCN network for having us tonight. Thank you, Clara, for arranging this panel discussion. And I mean, the subject is so important that really requires us all to take a look into what kind of innovation we can bring into the tourism in Africa. I hope everyone is hearing me very well. So
yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. So I won't basically put up the presentation. I'll just share with you. I took a few notes, and then I'll just share with you some of my points on the subject about smart hotels. But just as an introduction, I mean, basically, technology nowadays is a crucial part of the tourism and travel industry, helping businesses with the day-to-day operations, while also improving the customer experience. Now, for this reason, it is important for hotels, airlines, restaurants, and any other type of company within the industry to keep up with the latest technology trends in the travel and tourism. Now, this is especially vital during the era of COVID-19, with the customer expectations shifting. In this presentation, I will share with you some of the new trends within the tech and hotel industry. And I've selected 7 of the latest and newest technology trends, along with some answers and applications into the tourism sector. So first, I'd like to speak about the voice search, voice control. Now, we all know how smartphones, smart speakers, AI assistants have all helped to increase the relevance of voice search as far as technology trends in the travel industry are concerned. It is therefore crucial when designing your website to keep the voice search in mind so that you can capitalize on that. Within hotel rooms, for example, voice control devices can be used to control lighting and or heating within rooms, or obtain tourist information without having to speak with a member of staff. It is likely to continue to expand in other areas too. Second, robotics. So the robotic technology is one of the most exciting forms of travel and technology trends that is constantly improving. Within hotels, for example, robots have been used in concierge-like roles, helping to greet guests when they arrive, provide information. Some hotels have even expanded their use into involving them in cleaning or luggage handling. Third, virtual reality. So virtual reality has been an emerging technology in a number of different sectors, but its role within the tourism industry is especially significant. Using VR, customers can experience everything from virtual hotel tours to landmark, national parks, or even specific activities. The interactivity and immersion of this experience can also provide you with a competitive advantage over rivals who are not using this technology yet. Then number 4 would be the AI chatbots. Now, AI-powered chatbots can be one of the single most sensible travel industry investments you can make, because these chatbots can, they're basically able to provide customers with swift answers to questions on a 24/7 basis, regardless of staff availability or basically time zones. This can be essential, especially in these days, to live up to the current expectations from customers. Now, typically, these chatbots are at their best when answering questions, questions with common answers, which have standard answers that are already being provided. Yet, advances in the technology means modern chatbots continually improve as they have more and more interactions. Number 5 is the Internet of Things. Now, one of the most exciting emerging travel technology trends is the Internet of Things, which involves internet-based interconnectivity between everyday devices, allowing both to send and receive data. So, for instance, Internet of Things technology can be used in hotel rooms to provide customers with a device that connects to everything from the light to the heaters, air conditioning, curtains, allowing everything to be connected and controlled from one single place. Number 6 is the recognition technology. Now, the recognition technology is especially interesting within this list of key trends due to its potential for removing friction from purchases and making interactions seamless. The technology itself includes fingerprints, retina scanning, facial recognition, and other biometric identifiers. So such technology is already being used in some hotels to allow access to rooms via fingerprints or to allow semi-contactless checkouts. Last but not least is big data. Now, in modern tourism management, big data is a fact of life. Now, almost all successful companies, they are employing big data into a day-to-day business. But one of the biggest uses for this technology is to analyze current business performance. In particular, hotel owners can use big data for revenue management processes, using historic occupancy and comparing with past trends to better anticipate the levels of demand. And then when demand is anticipated, pricing and promotional strategies can be better optimized. So to summarize, it is essential for companies to operate, which are operating into the travel industry sector, to keep up with the latest travel and technology trends. Understanding and adopting these trends that we spoke about, which are just a small group of the emerging trends and which have even become more popular, especially in the era of COVID-19 where we live in. So understanding these trends will just allow you to give a better experience for customers and also help you to optimize the revenue management and overall business performance.
Absolutely great. Thank you very much. It's always a delight to listen to you, to give us updates, in the technology that is becoming mainstream now that it's become a necessity, in the era we've shifted into. It's really, really something that is, to us, a bit far-fetched, but sometimes circumstances drive us to scenarios we never, ever. So we are reimagining what life will be like for the average tourist post-COVID-19. And the truth absolutely is that they would have to get used to these technologies because social distancing, contactless, hotels will become the norm. And the sooner we get used to this, the better for us. And that's why we're doing this series of enlightenment, so that the hotel owners, the tourists, and everyone will say.
Absolutely.
I think we lost your sound, Clara.
Some of the points, salient points from both papers that have been presented, both by Mr. Amos and Mr. Yassir. One or two questions from those who have joined us. So you can actually go to the chat and type in your question, one or two, and we can treat that whilst we're discussing in this panel session. So Mr. Amos, I'll go first with you. I have a question. Is Mr. Amos ready?
Very well, very well.
Okay, great. Now, when we talk about smart cities, we already have some countries implementing what will make their city more competitive, because apparently most of these things are economy based. So the more competitive you are in terms of drawing tourists into your country, you're competing against nations who haven't actually taken advantage of some of these tools. Can you just give us a brief overview of where you think Africa is in terms of pursuing this agenda in creating smart cities?
I think first and foremost, Africa still has a whole lot of work to do. And that is why I had to take it from the point of we having to go back to what the lead countries who had advanced, particularly the countries within the G20s, let me say 10 years ago, the G20s, as of 10 years ago, actually had certain sets of things that worked for them. So Africa won't leap into a digital economy if it misses those tracks. United Nations Global Alliance for ICT Development 10 years ago actually put up together the fact around the space initiative, and that was the strategic planning, architectures and control education, which are sets of computer-based strategic planning tool sets that was supposed to help developing countries and small islands, at least to grow from where they are, to at least be able to compare and compete with those G20s, for instance. Like I said, you don't jump this overnight, and it won't happen that we are going to purchase a digital economy. It will take the processes of what we are doing now, what we culturally are used to. And that is why UNICT for Seeds for about 10 years have been evolving the design that is suitable for Africa, because I'm on the working group for some period. So for us to say that we are actually looking at how we can go back to the drawing boards, perhaps remodernize our culture or remodernize our processes and move ourselves from the brick and mortar stage. Like my dear brother Yasir spoke a lot about all these emerging technologies. For us, we are trying to see how we move this out of the classrooms, move away from the classrooms. Let's get to the rural, to the shanties. Let's get to the ghettos and change our ghettos to the ideal future communities. So it will take us to offer some of this enterprise thinking, strategic planning, to rebuild all these processes and make sure all these things are in place. We cannot offer services for tourism that can be competitive with people that are already leaders if we are not doing the same thing. So in the course of doing all this, we are actually developing our smart digital cities, because our services would have been made even possible in our rural areas. People in our remote areas are now using digital tools to offer services that are bettering and improving and increasing their prosperity. That is first required before a tourist will be required in their environment. So like, while Africans were doing this before now, they're actually not getting the kind of economic value that they desire. And that is why the idea of really rejigging the ecosystem to make it more digital, have the smart impact on all of what they do, will give them the values that they desire going forward. That's what we're saying. It's needful for us to consider smart city content in what can take Africa to where we can be more competitive as we are, as a people.
Okay, all right, sounds great. We'll keep thinking everything lies with government or the buck stops at the government. I don't think so. It also means that as individuals, as communities, we need to actually begin to think about bringing the solutions to the table. It's our life. And if we keep waiting for the governments, we'll probably miss out on everything that would be beneficial to running a society.
Most efforts of government will require that they take a tour. They're always taking trips and tour. In fact, they are touring to visit places where they have done what we are talking about now. Why don't you actually sow what you need to do and produce what you need to get? The production capacity for a smart city lies with Africans and the practical abilities of Africans to deliver a smart city.
Than the government itself.
Oh, no. It's a major distraction, the way I look at it, actually.
So it's okay, Yasir, I'm going to take this question to you. There was an example we gave at a forum we were discussing about smart hotels and what some electronic giants have already come up with. There was a case study of what one of the big electronic companies has done with integrations with hotel, for a tourist taking off from the airport, getting out, staying the days they would stay, and then getting back to their country. Everything has been programmed by artificial intelligence. But the assumption is that these technologies are very expensive to acquire, which is making it seem like a far off, so to say, a far off ideal that many people figure, or it's beyond our reach. What do you think we can do to bring down to mainstream, make people believe that as little as you can spend to acquire technology, it could go a long way to enhancing your processes, your systems, and making you equally more profitable?
Yes, I actually quite agree with you. When we usually speak about this kind of new technologies, and probably especially in a place like Africa, we would think that such technologies would only be affordable to northern countries, or probably it's such an expensive technology that can also be only be affordable by big gigantic companies. The truth is it's not. So especially nowadays, where technology is so common, and there are, I mean, the market is open for so many companies which are also developing different types of technology. It's really affordable to all. Just to give a few examples. We spoke about the chatbots, for instance. These, I mean, this small, I mean, we could consider it really as a small technology or a tool. However, it can save you thousands of man hours or let's say employee hours. A chatbot is a tool that you can have on your website that you can program with your most frequently asked questions. Questions that usually would take time from an employee who would pick up the phone just to answer the same thing, whether there are questions about, let's say, timings of restaurants, to what kind of COVID-19 precautions the hotel is taking, or any other type of regular questions that we get all the time. So all these questions will be programmed together with the answer in a chatbot tool, and the person or the customer would log into the website, ask the question, and get an immediate answer without any human interference. This is such a regular technology right now that you can acquire with a few dozens of dollars, let's say, on a monthly or quarterly basis. Other technologies that have been implemented as well, as like the Internet of Things into the hotel rooms. Now, perhaps this might be expensive, let's say, for an independent hotel, but with chain hotels that can acquire certain technology and then share the costs amongst multiple hotels, then it becomes, again, much more affordable. The thing is, nowadays, with the open market, especially in technology and technology-related travel industry tools, it's any type of hotel or travel industry company is able to acquire this type of tools. And just to give another example, we spoke about virtual tools. This has been now so common that, as a matter of fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I attended an international roadshow, which usually only happens in person, like some of the big international tourism roadshows, like ITB in Berlin or WTM in London, and so on. So I attended a virtual one where you were literally able to select a character, to dress them up, to choose all the physical features, and then you are walking around in an environment where you meet other people you can interact with, whether it's by chat or a voice call, and it was just so seamless. But actually, this technology is not new. I remember probably more than 10 years ago, it started in a video game. It was a game called Half-Life or Second Life, if I remember well, where you were able to do the same thing. You could literally like have a space in a virtual world, acquire real estate, go and do shopping. So what we are doing is merely adapting some of the technologies that are already there into different purposes. So again, we should just remove this idea of affordability or that it's only available for certain level of companies. We should just look out there. Everything is available, everything is within reach. And now, even for people, there are technology, like nowadays, most technology companies, they work on a different model. You don't need to purchase the technology and license it. You could only actually pay for the use or borrow it. So instead of paying thousands or maybe tens of thousands to acquire certain technology, you could just pay a small regular fee, sometimes on monthly basis or yearly basis, for the use of this technology.
For some of this. All
exactly.
Right. Thank you so much. Because we just barely have 3 minutes to round up. I'm actually committed to keeping the time. And we just have one contribution from the chat, and it's from Robert Lamker. And he says, smart tourism is not only to put technologies into hotels, it is a private-public partnership at a local level, city level, with 3 objectives: connectivity, sustainability, and inclusiveness. Locations must be interested in smart tourism. If not, as in some European cities, they will reject tourism. For me, the main issue for the future is to train and educate future managers, the kind of program I give in France, Spain, and Algeria. And I guess it's also in alignment with what we're about to do with iSmart Africa as a platform where people will begin to understand the needs of Africa as a continent, so that the appropriate technologies would actually be presented to them. And the whole idea is, like we said, if we can have a mind shift and understand that the government will not do everything. Individuals have solutions, and we don't have to wait for the government. When it comes to policies, they can always catch up, but we can provide the solutions while they are still working at the policies. It's really been an exciting evening, and the opportunity given to us by WTN to further these discussions. I really, truly appreciate the time. Mr. Amos Emmanuel, Mr. Yasser Demnati, thank you for your time. And for those who also took out time to be with us, thank you for your time, and we hope you were able to glean a bit of information from all that we have shared this evening. Once again, thank you, everyone. Hand over now to you, Jen.
Yes, thank you, Clara. Appreciate it. And it's completely okay to go over time. I don't think we had any event where we really stick with the time, and I appreciate this is such a nice effort, and it's such an important subject. You know, smart cities starts with smart homes, and I mean, I have a Google Assistant, so I can just say, Google, hey Google, what time is it?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Doesn't want to answer to me now. Let me try it again. Hey Google, what time is it? It's on Google. Oh, yeah, that's just
Always ask me to play your favorite live radio station too. Just say play NPR, for example.
See, it talks back to you. Only. You can even have a conversation. You can cuss it, and it never gets upset. You know, that's the nice thing about
it. But you even need to have you even need to have the network. You need to even have the network to achieve that.
Exactly, it's all coming from the internet, and it's absolutely amazing. And I know many years ago, my mother received a phone call, and she was telling me she talked to this nice young gentleman, and she had such a nice conversation. And then a day later, she gets a survey call and said how she liked talking to a computer. You know, so sometimes you wouldn't even know you're talking to a computer.
I give you an example. You know, the most exciting part sometimes when you get into a hotel from the airport and you get down, you know, at the foyer and you walk into your hotel room, and probably it's one of the hotels that have embraced technologies, and you can see all this reflected in the design. You get into the toilet, it could be a contactless toilet, and you're there for where to you know actually flush the toilet. You just needed to wave your hands, and the toilet flushes by itself. You know,
Right.
and these are the excitements that those who understand the needs of the advanced tourists who wants their comfort at every level. Okay, years back, if you needed a taxi, you had to get down to your hotel foyer and stand on the road and get your taxi. But now from your room, you can through the app just get a taxi. Once it's there, it tells you it's there waiting for you at the foyer, and you walk down and get to where you go to. And with your maps right there on your apps, you can navigate the city without having to look for someone. And so the argument is that somehow technology might affect jobs in the future. What are your thoughts on this, actually, Amos? Looking at the aspect of it taking away jobs, because we already have the apps on our doing the job for us.
Frankly, before now, as an IT person, I once believed that time would not come, that man would be afraid of machine. But then, in reality, it has dawned on everybody right now to see that the changes of information communication technologies around the world are a necessity. So it's not about, it's not of choice any longer. So if perhaps you are in a manufacturing business and you realize you now have some set of innovation that may replace about 50-man line production and reduce them to just 2, at the beginning of the production line and 1 person at the other end of the production line, thereby 48 people have been pulled off the production business or production line. You realize that as a business owner, you actually will respect your bank interaction because your bottom line will be talking better to you. Your products will get to the targeted places without human intervention. So many things are now come to the reality that the business owner's interests now matter. Is not about the labor that you attach there. But you see, for governments, because they're looking at politics, and man is now being placed on wrong jobs. That's why today, I try to disassociate the word job, J-O-B, from the word service. They are 2 separate things. Politicians will be quick to use the word job because they put you in a place for 30 days and pay you what they call a salary, and the reward system is not equivalent to the production. Whereas service means there is something you are bringing to the table and you are being rewarded for the value of what you have produced.
Solving a problem.
So the day we throw away the word job and begin to measure by the word service, we will be better off, whether as a public service or private. So the reality of ICT is not for us to compromise this at all. Don't put 100 men to go fight a war when a few machines can deliver your victory. I think I just put it there.
All right. That's, I go to yours here, and I have to take it from the point of view of our continent as Africa. There are, there are some countries already in Africa that are moving ahead with the blueprints we're talking about. In Rwanda, for instance, I'm very sure that the president is very pro-technology, and he's already some hubs in Rwanda, and a lot of the events going on there are actually looking at this aspect of turning Africa into a smart continent by homegrown technologies. And what I see is that most of the hackathons being sponsored are from mostly European countries or the EU. trying to help solve the in Africa, because it have these challenges that the opportunities actually lie. Now, yes, yeah, talking about, you know, the gradient of progress being made. We have the Northern Africa countries, the Southern African countries, and the Sub-Saharan African countries. Will there be a time when we can actually sit together as the African Union and look at an integrated technology plan that could actually fast track to enhance and make the continent competitive in terms of tourism?
In terms of competitiveness, I believe that already in Africa we do have the resources. We have the human resources, we have the creativity, intelligence, the entrepreneurship. Most of the time, what's needed is just the support and guidance, or let's say platforms where youth could actually they just need the opportunity to bring what creativity and
to bring their solutions to the table.
Absolutely. So with this kind of programs, yes, I definitely believe that we will get there, and especially nowadays that we live in a global village. Basically, it's an open market. Like nowadays, everything is open source. You have access to all kind of technologies. It takes much lesser time than it took before, let's say, to uncover a new tool. If tomorrow a new technology comes in Northern Europe or in Americas, it will only take few weeks before another startup comes in with a better version by already discovering how the previous one works and then developing a new version. Because nowadays everything is open out there and everything is accessible. So I just believe with the right platform, with the right guidance and resources, yes, we can definitely compete.
All right.
Yes, it's an extremely interesting discussion for me. I also wanted to read a message I received on Facebook. Cuthbert Nikube, he's the chairman of the African Tourism Board. He's watching us on Facebook. Hello, Cuthbert. Let me read your message. Just thank you, Jürgen, for sharing. Smart tourism is the way to go for Africa, and it needs to move up the ladder. I totally agree. So thanks for that comment. And you know, I hope also with WTN and our affiliation with the African Tourism Board, we literally Siamese twins. We can work together in bringing this forward for Africa and also for other parts in the world. I would welcome anyone who wants to get involved. I think it's a good business decision to think about. We talked about fashion, but also talked about a discussion group within WTN on smart cities. I think it could really be beneficial. I actually, if you don't mind, I don't know if she is willing to or has a microphone, but I see Professor Dr. Snežana, and I'm pronounced this probably wrong. We just announced she's the head of our educational forum. She's joining us from Serbia. I don't know, Professor Sena, if you just want to say, have a comment on this, how this would go aside with education and so forth.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Doctor.
From Serbia. It was very nice panel. Really, I enjoyed very much. As you know, education is the most important thing for every aspect of tourism, because we have to educate people from the bottom to the top. And especially for smart tourism, there is a lot of opportunities for education, on the different levels and for different people. So I am very pleased if you can join us for education, so we can make a program for the special groups, and after that we can do it through our network. So I'm really enjoying.
Absolutely.
Do you agree?
I absolutely agree with you because education is the key factor that can unlock all that we've been discussing.
Yes, it is very, very important. And this, as we have this problem all around the world on a global level, we can use this period of time to do good education for the future, because this is a gap where a tourism sector is not working in a full, and then we can use it as a moment of truth to see where do we need education, which kind of education, to make special courses, special schools, and such a things. Because world is ours. There are 120 countries, including in our network, which is the most important. And Jürgen, thank you very much for this idea and for this opportunity. And I think that education is the most important for development of tourism in future.
Thank you very much, Zetta, and I appreciate also you joining us. We had a very good discussion actually on the Balkan tourism where you participated. It's an archive. If you haven't seen it, just watch it. It's really an interesting discussion. I learned a lot on this as well. And last night we touched the subject we're touching here also with our group we had from Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia, of course, is going through an enormous conversion when it comes to travel and tourism. And we have His Royal Highness, and I'm so sorry, don't ask me to pronounce his name, joining our, leading our local chapter in Saudi Arabia. And there seems to be so many opportunities in that part of the world. And yes, you're in Dubai, right? You probably know that. We also had a gentleman actually from Dubai on the forum who wanted to start a chapter in Dubai. So hopefully we can connect on that level as well.
Absolutely.
But if I don't know, if there are any more questions, please raise your hand now. We can give you the floor. And there's Robert.
I think Marie can just give us a few words before we sign off. She joined us, but I just believe we would have to schedule another presentation for her sometime in the future. Marie, are you willing to just say a few words before we sign off?
Well, we have one question here. Can we use that? Should we use that first or after Marie?
Okay, after Marie.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Marie.
Hi, everyone. I'm really sorry about this. I had written 10 p.m. CET for this conference. And here we are, you know, the time zones and so forth.
Well, it's always a challenge.
Sometimes has to be the first. And unfortunately, it was today. Very sorry about that, everyone. This is such an interesting subject, no? Because it's really like, how do we reinvent ourselves? Not only like travel, but how we reinvent ourselves in this challenge that we are in, facing, no? And I'm just looking at, the trends that McKinsey had described pre-COVID, no? For the industry. I looked at them and I'm looking at what are the trends from now on ahead. And it's very similar. It's really curious to see. It is about disruptive tech. It is about sustainability and the considerations for the environment. It is about the moving into the mobile atmosphere. It is about engaging in well-being and so forth. What is happening is we're escalating all these themes, no? And it goes so well hand in hand with the smart tourism. It goes so well in hand with the generations, that are coming of, of the tourists, in terms of the millennial group, in terms of the Gen Z, these, what they are expecting and requiring from the services as well is kind of its personalization part of the picture. It is, it has been able to work, study wherever you are. It has been able to kind of travel for good in a way, no? and being able to support the communities where you are at the moment, where you are staying at the moment, and so forth. And the beauty with that is like, there's so many amazing opportunities when it comes to Africa as a continent to support that. You know, that where we're heading, the trends, and what people really want from the travel now and also in the future, so to say, no? So I keeping it really short, but that is really what I wanted to bring in, you know, but also the importance of understanding users from the user perspective, really tapping into what are the needs, you know, really doing our research well, and really being able to, as soon as, you know, looking from the whole journey, you know, from the pre-trip, the research, going through to the actually the experience is taking place, to the after trip experience, no? And also being able to tap into that after trip experience, all the feedback being shared and so forth, with experience, to iterate and improve these experiences.
Thank you very much, Marie. Let's give the last comment or question to Robert Lanquan. I think you're joining us from France, or I know you've been on the show a number of times. Thank you so much. Please unmute yourself. You're still muted.
Yes, thank you very much. No, I am not speaking from France. I am French, but, you know, I am speaking from Cordoba, Spain, where I am living, you know, and I work exactly on this field of smart tourism. I develop a lot of program, and there is some even article and chapter of books in EG, published in Philadelphia, and I am very pleased to listen to you. I try to develop this kind of program in Algeria, Morocco, because, for example, at the end of this month, I will go to Tangier and to Fez to speak about that. And I believe that the real problem for me is the education problem. We have to go beyond the technology to put in hotel, etc. We have to go even beyond for revenue management and yield management. I am teaching yield management, and I even have a small business with my son on revenue and online service, management service for hotel, hostel, etc., etc. But really, and I am very pleased that to listen to what was saying Clara. In Africa, the future is the use of this online digitalization to allow to a lot of people at a reduced cost to promote and develop tourism. And as I say in the paper, the smart tourism has 3 pillars, you know, sustainability, very important, connectivity, and inclusiveness. If you don't if you forget to work with a local population, you will have trouble, as we saw in some European countries, in some European cities. And thank you very much for all. I can even send you some document in French and English and Spanish on smart tourism I was doing, and you know, Clara, I will send you that soon. Give me your.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, feel free to send us. You can just put it and add it to the form. And if we do decide, depending on any of you, to start a smart city interest group on WTN, we can collect all these items in there as well. And before I give Clara the last word, I just wanted to thank everyone who's watching us right now, everyone who will be watching us. And I wanted to remind everyone to go to our website, WTN.travel, click on the lounge events on the blue banner or on upcoming events, and you can register for many more sessions coming up between now and the end of the month. And if you're not a member yet of the World Tourism Network, please become a member. We have both free and paid options. Of course, we prefer the paid options, but either way, you go to WTN.travel and click on register or become a member, and we would welcome you with open arms. And with this said, and aloha from Hawaii to everyone. Clara, you have the last word.
Great service, luxury rooms and stylish decor all feature in the best of hotels. However, no matter how plush your pillows are or great the bellboy is, it can still feel like there's a little something missing. We live in the age of technology, so in an effort to keep up with the times and stay relevant, hotels are starting to get more high-tech than ever before. We're talking check-in robots, smart mirrors, and VR games rooms. These are 10 of the most high-tech and futuristic hotels from around the world. The Strange Hotel, Japan. The Henna Hotel, or Strange Hotel as most people call it, is quite possibly the weirdest and most futuristic hotel in the world. On the face of it, the building is very normal. In fact, everything about the hotel is normal until you get acquainted with the staff. The reason why the Strange Hotel received its rather fitting name is because of its 140-strong robotic workforce. From check-in to check-out, robots look after your every need throughout your stay. There are wheeled robots, ultra-lifelike humanoids, and even a couple of dinosaur receptionists to greet you on your way in. Robots do pretty much everything at the Henna Hotel: housekeeping, room service, waitering, you name it. Alongside the robots are a number of other high-tech features, including facial recognition room entry, sensor-triggered lights, and AI smart assistants in every room. In addition to the kitchen team, there are a few other living and breathing staff at the hotel, but they're only really there in case of emergencies and mostly go unnoticed. Pengheng Space Capsules Hotel, China. Capsule hotels are nothing new and are becoming ever more popular as our most visited cities become more overcrowded. However, this one is a little different. The Pengheng Space Capsules Hotel made the news all around the world when it first opened, and I can assure you that it was not because of their comfy mattresses. Featuring a spaceship-like theme throughout, robotic staff, and a number of tech amenities, this ultra-futuristic capsule hotel lives up to the hype and its name. All of the brightly LED-lit capsules feature flat screens, tablets, and a mission control station where you can control the lighting, temperature, and the automatic sliding doors. The very well-trained robotics staff look after all of your needs, from serving drinks to booking tours in the city. While this capsule hotel might not offer the biggest rooms and comfortable environment, it is incredibly cheap at less than $20 a night. It really does give you a glimpse into the future. Just remember to pack your blue light blocking glasses. Eccleston Square Hotel, London. The Eccleston Square Hotel is widely considered one of the most technologically advanced luxury boutique hotels in the world. Each room features a digital concierge iPad, the latest 4K 3D televisions, smart glass frosted bathroom walls, touch-controlled glass keypads, handmade massage beds, and a complimentary smartphone with unlimited data that guests are free to use throughout their stay. The Eccleston Square Hotel's amenities blend in perfectly with the classic British decor, making for a seamlessly perfect technology-filled experience. Latest additions to the hotel include a fully integrated AI system, Google Assistants in every room, and the offer of a smart cloud service that remembers guests' personal stay preferences. The high-tech refurb cost around £13.5 million in 2011 and secured the hotel the In-Room Technology Innovation Award at the European Hospitality Awards just 6 months later. Blow Up Hall 50/50, Poland. Blow Up Hall 50/50 is one part hotel, one part art gallery, which makes for an incredibly exciting experience. The repurposed brewery contains 22 guest rooms and huge event spaces that can cater for up to 700 people. Throughout the hotel are a number of digital art installations from world-renowned artists, as well as many unique features that make the hotel so special. Blow Up Hall famously features no reception area or room numbers, forcing guests to find their own way using a supplied iPhone, which only unlocks their booked room. The iPhone also works as a way to communicate with the staff, book tables in the restaurant, and also schedule the obligatory afternoon spa session. The design of Blow Up Hall 50/50 is a fantastic mix of industrial and ultra-futuristic. Think exposed brick matched with metallic geometric fixtures, huge metal-framed windows with wall-mounted LCD screens. The rooms are very clean-cut, modern, and monochrome, showcasing bed-mounted swivel TVs, marble baths big enough for two, and full soundproofing, which might, but probably won't, come in handy. The Hotel Silcan Puerto America, Spain. The Hotel Silcan Puerto America is what happens when you give 19 designers complete creative freedom over 315 unique bedrooms. While this stay might not be laden with technology and gadgetry, it more than makes up for it in design and futuristic ambience. Each of the 12 floors follows a distinct theme and character. From the sci-fi-esque first floor that features a black and white cave-like design, complete with wraparound LED lighting and rooms that seem to mold together in natural forms, to the opulent 12th floor that features sliding walls allowing guests to arrange their own space. If you want a bigger bathroom or a more spacious living room, you can. The 12th floor rooms also benefit from 360-degree projected wall art that can follow two distinct themes, dark or light. Although luxury, it's not the amenities of the Hotel Silk Puerto America that makes it futuristic, but is instead the unique approach to hotel design and the stunning spaces that have been created. Yotel New York. A stay in New York City usually means a tiny, dated room that costs more than a year's supply of corn dogs. However, this is not the case at Yotel NYC. Yotel offers 669 capsule-like cabin rooms that ooze simplicity and functionality through the use of modern technology. Guests are greeted by a touchscreen reception that spits out their room key upon payment, a factory-arm robot named Yobot looks after the automated luggage storage, and there is, of course, unlimited usage of the superfast Wi-Fi. The stylish rooms feature adjustable mood lighting, smart TVs, and electronic Murphy beds that sandwich up by day and fold out by night. The Yotel Hotel is a simple stay that uses touches of technology to make the most seamless and carefree experience. Kameha Grand, Switzerland. Have you ever dreamt about sleeping in space? Of course you have. Well, for those of us who don't happen to be trained astronauts, the Kameha Grand Space Suite is as close as it gets. Sitting on the 5th floor of this stunning hotel is one of the most otherworldly hotel rooms on planet Earth. Named the Space Suite, guests are welcomed into their room by a female-voiced computer host who confirms your spaceship login and talks you through the room's amenities. The floor and ceiling are covered in images of space taken by the Hubble telescope. There are also a number of other space-themed decor items, including an astronaut glove phone holder, rocket engine spotlights, and a floating bed that looks like it's defying gravity. The Space Suite is incredibly futuristic, and every item in there follows the theme of intergalactic travel. The designer even chose to remove any windows to heighten the space shuttle experience. Hotel Zetta, San Francisco. Zetta in San Francisco has always been a tech-centric hotel. However, their latest update has truly kicked things up a notch. By installing Amazon Alexa voice assistants in every room, travelers now have an entirely new, intuitive way to engage with the hotel directly. Whether it's to order a toothbrush from reception, set up a wake-up alarm, or book a table at the in-house Cavalier restaurant, guests can do so through simple voice command without even having to lift a finger. Other new tech amenities include a VR booth located in the hotel lobby featuring a range of the latest games. Oculus Go VR headsets and Nintendo Switch consoles are also available for use. The famous Zetta Playroom has received a retro makeover featuring new pinball machines, Atari Pong, and a full-sized shuffleboard. The Sinclair, Fort Worth, Texas. The Sinclair Hotel was built over 90 years ago, but despite its old bones, it's still one of the most up-to-date hotels in the world. Considered to be the world's first all-digital hotel, the Sinclair has fully adopted the Internet of Things, featuring countless smart devices and amenities that communicate with each other to create a perfectly effortless guest experience. Notable features include smart mirrors that guests can use to read trending news, listen to music, get weather updates, and contact hotel services. Razor-sharp 8K wallpaper smart televisions and presence-sensing ambience controls that automatically adjust the lighting and room temperature. The Sinclair is also the first building in the world to replace its diesel generators and backup power sources with a lithium-ion battery pack, the LG ESS. Hilton V Hotel, Dubai. Hilton hotels can be found all around the world, from Bali to Fort Lauderdale. However, their most futuristic hotel by far is found in the jet-setter's paradise of Dubai. Simply named V, this Al Habtoor City Hotel is probably the coolest and most futuristic stay in the desert. The design is bold, colourful and unique, creating stunning spaces throughout, from the hotel lobby to the fashionista deluxe rooms. The V Hotel features the most visually striking sleeping spots in the world. We're talking circular beds big enough for 10, LED mood lighting, and in-room freestanding bathtubs that look over the city skyline. There's also a long list of modern amenities that will make you never want to leave, including an ultra-high-tech gym, nightclub and spa. In addition to the already opulent rooms are a number of executive suites that have all been individually designed. They're big, spacious, and flashy enough to make a New York penthouse look boring.
Thank you very much again. It's really been exciting. I'd like to thank everyone. And we're working on a project. It's called iSmart Africa. And the whole idea is to digitize the hospitality sector in Africa. And it's a matchmaking platform with technology companies that have the solutions to the hospitality sector businesses that need these solutions in Africa so that our tourism sector can become competitive. Once again, thank you, everyone. We count on your support as we go on this journey. And thank you, WTN, for giving us the opportunity. Good night from Lagos.